Hey, what's up, everybody? Look, you and I both know that restrictive dieting, copious amounts of high-intensity exercise, and living like a social leper is no longer an acceptable approach to achieving and maintaining the body and health that you want for yourself and your family. We know this because we've been there. The good news is that we're here to show you that there's another way. The problem with how the fitness and health industry addresses obesity, or being overweight, or feeling like garbage is that all the experts tell you it's a food and exercise thing, when in reality, it's a mindset and prioritization thing. We spent nearly 2 decades in the trenches, learning, coaching, and perfecting real-world solutions to a real-world problem. Join us as we help connect people just like you with the information they need to live their best life possible. My name is Brian Sweeney. My wife Jenny and I will be your coaches on this journey. Welcome to the Amplify Network. All right, super cool topic today. I'm wicked excited because we've been talking about this the last couple shows, introducing like Amplify, the Amplify brand, and it hasn't been much of a secret that over the last 2 or 3 shows, and maybe even the last 6-7 months, we've been talking about that the idea of fitness. As I've gotten older, even as you've kind of matured in your fitness journey, you can see that the things that we put too much emphasis on in the beginning, it can create more of an unhealthy, unstable lifestyle long term. Because a lot of the stuff that we're told to do and that we're encouraged to do, it's not sustainable.
Absolutely agree.
And we talked on the last show about putting pieces of your life in boxes, especially when it comes down to how much time do you apply on your general health? How much time do you apply on goofing off time and vacation time? And we had talked about that even that is a pretty stark contrast to where we began, where it's like, you need to be compliant all the time, and you can have maybe a cheat day once a week, and it was very rigid. And because that recipe, I've seen it work short term too many times to not acknowledge there's something wrong. It's flawed. So when you're looking at people and they've been struggling with nutrition, whether it's I don't know, or there's too much mental and emotional damage around eating, either eating disordered or unhealthy relationship with food. And then you've got the fitness. People think, well, if I'm not a superstar, it's not even worth it because why am I going to embarrass myself? So Amplify came out of that.
Yep. I'm very excited about it.
So we're more pursuing now optimal life. And we've been talking for the last year that you don't need fitness to be fit.
Correct.
You need to be active. And we went through the whole gyms are essential thing with COVID, that without the gyms, people would be lost. And I believe that's kind of true with a degree of people that need people.
Yes.
But there's a large number of people, they're like, oh, no, I'm a self-starter. I can go out and walk, and I can run, and I can lift weights in my basement as long as I've got someone to check into and I have a coach on hand. I can do my shtick, and I'm cool. Well, all of those experiences and everything we've done before that, and I think every place where we're going now, it's leading to this idea that we keep pursuing the wrong things. And now, when we talk about optimal life, I think I'm kind of back to where we were when we first began. I think when I first started, it's like, hey, it's all about being healthy and fit.
Yeah.
And we went and took all this, we dodged left, and then we dodged right, and then we kind of went over here, and then we adjusted again, looking for the perfect recipe to help everybody all at once. And
yeah, I was going to say, and the funny thing is that you can't. Like, logically, you know that we are all such different personalities with such different goals, and you said it. There are people who I believe if they did not have a physical gym to go to at least once a week, that they may suffer from depression, or they may gain weight and not have any drive to go forward. And then you have people that are like, gym's closed, huh?
I didn't even notice.
What are you talking about? I've been working out in my garage for 5 years, loving it.
Yep. So there's a critical piece, but it's not essential for, well, what is health? And I think, didn't we have a show on this too?
Yep.
What is health? What is wellness? What does that mean? And we have had obese clients come to us and say, well, my doctor says I'm perfectly healthy.
Right.
I was like, okay, well, something's wrong there. And then we've had people that they're too undernourished, and they're like, well, since I'm skinny, I'm healthy.
Yep.
And
everything in between.
And there's the whole gamut. And again, the psychological piece, you might have the body chemistry and everything's great, but your psychology is so banged up, you're not a healthy person.
Better believe it.
Because you're a healthy weight, you're able to lift and run, but your cortisol levels are so high that, you've shrunken your brain and you've destroyed your blood pressure.
Exactly. And we talk too a lot of the times with health, as you look at, an older population and you see that there are so many people who have reached the senior citizen level that have kind of given up because, again, with all of us, there's so much information and misinformation that they're like, you know what? I'm going to go to my doctor. They're going to put me on meds and I'm just going to stop working out because it's not important anymore. And you watch them become very, very frail. And it's something that, to live your optimal life, I hope I can still say that I'm living mine in my 70s and that you can constantly, like you were saying, we go left, we go right, we dodge, but I'm hoping I can always find something that complements my goals and that still works with my ability. As I get older, I probably won't be able to back squat 300 pounds.
Shit.
But you know what I mean? But I'm hoping that I'm hoping that I can,
I deny that.
Rack 2 dumbbells on my shoulders that are 10 pounds and still go, I can squat without pain.
No doubt. And people don't think old age, they think short term. Yep. And this goes along with most of the challenges that are out there and most of the weight loss programs that are out there. No one ever signs up to Weight Watchers thinking, I know what I'm doing for the next 30 years. They do it short term to elicit a response, and then when it either becomes too much of a pain in the rear end socially or they can't afford it, they bounce.
Absolutely.
So no one ever really embraces that stuff as a full thing, which all this is kind of leading us up to. So what do you pursue? And the tagline that we're coming up with is live your best life.
Right.
And this is so soft for me. I mean, this is like the soft rock version of Brian, to be able to even acknowledge that this is kind of what this is. It's like live your best life, because I don't do foo-foo. I don't do soft. And I would rather... I'd rather punch you in the chest to get you to do something than bring you flowers and try to get you to...
See? All the yacht rock radio and slow jams that I've listened to for years are finally rubbing off on you.
I have a couple of girl friends in fitness that are probably going to fall off dead when they hear me saying this stuff, because I'm so hard-assed about, what it takes to get where you're going. But we're doing this 14-day discovery on the other social media channels that we have on what it's like for a new person.
Yeah.
And, what does somebody experience? Because I'm so far down the rabbit hole, I don't know anymore. And as I'm going through it, I'm starting to have more of these kind of like epiphanies. And I'm like, people don't give a shit about six packs.
No.
They don't. My whole thing is shoot for the stars and hope you come up just a little bit short.
Yes.
You're still going to be further than the moon.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, let's just drive you hard. And then when you come up short, it's still going to be the best life you've ever had.
Exactly.
That's been my way of thinking.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting is that if you look at a person who's brand new to all of this, they're finally on a track where they wake up one day and they say, I'm ready to make positive changes in my life so that I can feel better. They're never going to walk in and say, Brian, Jen, my goal is to live an optimal life, But what we're going to do with Amplify is show that you can, almost without realizing what you're doing.
Yes.
So you tackle these small pieces, and together they're going to create this, we're going to call it a health pie, like your optimal or your best life pie, where you realize just small pieces at a time will come together. And next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, everything about me is feeling better. And I look better.
There's this pie that you're talking about, and I can picture it. And when you start looking at, okay, well, where does it start? Obviously, your fitness has to be in there.
Of course it does.
You want to have good body chemistry. You want your blood panels to come out right. Yes. You want to, all your numbers are on point. But then you've got to be strong. How strong do you have to be? Strong enough to create strong bones.
Right.
There's got to be bone density going on. You got to do bone growth, and you only do that with heavy weight.
Exactly.
Well, I want my cardiorespiratory system. I want my endurance to be well. Well, you can only do that with kind of metabolic training. Strength training doesn't translate to automatically to endurance training, and it doesn't enable you to have good aerobic capacity. So health with fitness, you can't just go down one rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this too. So all you OTF people, whether you're RTB, we try to do this very well at the gym for our clients. But if you're biting off on one style of fitness, let's say it's the Peloton, and I see all these people, they're shit hot for a year.
Yes.
Peloton is my life. And then
yes.
after that, they're like, I'm not seeing results anymore. I'm bored with the instructors. I'm tired. Because it's 1 degree faceted, and fitness isn't.
Yes.
So you've got to find something that's mixing it up.
Yes.
Have Peloton in your tool bag. That's money. We use it.
Absolutely. Yep. I love it.
Orange Theory is great, but it's a treadmill and a rower and a neoprene dumbbell. End of story. How much growth is going to come after a year? You're going to make initial significant impact.
Oh, heck yes.
Because the training and stimulus has changed.
Yes.
But you're going to adapt.
Yep.
And the body is designed what's next. Adaptation happens over time, which is why runners, all they end up doing is putting more and more miles to elicit the same effect. I used to be able to run 2 miles and I could keep the 10 pounds away.
Yep.
Now I've got to run 9 miles a day to keep the 2 pounds. Oh crap. Well, guess what's happening? My hips hurt, my knees hurt, my joints hurt. It takes me 90 minutes to prep, get ready, warm up, cool down. And it's like, I can't do that anymore.
Running is my absolute favorite topic because we have one of the guys at our gym. He's one of my favorites. He's been around for a long time. It was either 18 months or 2 years ago, he informed me that I had never noticed that he always skipped lower body strength day. And I was like,
I know what you're talking
what?
about.
And he told me, I'm not going to say his name, but he said to me, I didn't want it to impact my running. And then a former client had said to him, you realize that my run time has gotten better.
Of course.
And I'm feeling stronger.
What's strength training?
Because I'm doing strength training. And to watch him embrace such a bizarre change for him and then see the success that he's had from it. So it's like you were saying, fitness is not just one thing. It's the combination of everything. If you love running, you're not going to come to our gym and we're going to be like, you have to give that up.
It's a piece of it.
It's a piece of it. And then there's the nutrition piece of it. So, you're running, you've now incorporated strength training, but you haven't adjusted your diet to fit your goals and your fitness lifestyle. That's a piece of it. You're waking up, you're not sleeping, you're waking up at 3 a.m. because it's important for you to get your miles in, but you never let your body recover because you didn't get the rest. So another piece of the pie.
We're not saying running's bad. We're not saying strength training's
No.
bad. We're not saying these other gyms aren't bad. What we're saying is that the fitness component, the piece of Amplify My Life, is your fitness has to be a strategy.
Yes.
It moves. It's a moving target. And if your gym is covering variable training, if you're doing strength training, endurance training, metabolic training, if you're doing yoga and mobility, and that's what you need. And it's got to be challenging you all the time.
Yep.
So fitness is one slice. Then you got nutrition. Nutrition is a moving target. And here's the best part. Right when you think you got it figured out, you're going to get older, your hormones are going to shift, and it won't work anymore.
Yes.
So nutrition is also a journey.
Yes.
So you can't sit there and settle and be like, well, I'm keto. Okay, great. Keto's going to stop working for you real fast. Let's be honest. Most people, it's flexible keto. I've done real keto. It is a pain. It's a full-time freaking job.
I didn't like it at all.
A lot of times people just say, I do keto, which means I eat the fat bombs and I cut some of the carbs out, but I'm really on an Atkins diet.
I mean, honestly, it's just fat bombs.
It's fat bombs. And that was the best part of freaking keto was that I got to eat as much fat as I want. My freaking fat numbers went through the roof. But,
exactly.
And then,
yes.
go ahead.
So, no, I was going to say, and then which leads into just your health. So, another piece is, are you actually getting your physicals? And are you paying attention to what your doctor says? And are you on meds that if you just started making positive changes in your life, you could actually get off of?
So we're in the wellness slice.
Yeah.
So wellness, I hate that word, and I hate lifestyle.
I do too.
But until something else comes along, I mean, what was the, Maguire, Tom Cruise movie?
Jerry Maguire?
Jerry Maguire. Cuba Gooding had a word for everything, and it was the Quan.
Yes.
And I keep wanting to go back to that, and I was like, no, that was cheesy. But the Quan is what we're talking about.
I always thought the Quan was dirty in that movie.
No, it was the money, the family, the fame. It was meant to be everything.
I'm going to have to watch that.
The Quan was supposed to be this all-encompassing, but until something comes along for health and fitness, we keep saying lifestyle and health.
Wellness.
It sucks. But wellness is your checkups. It's regular routine things. It's understanding your body. It's getting a baseline for what your health is before you get old.
Right.
Guess what happens when you show up when you're 55 years old for your first physical? They're like, dude, your blood sugar's kind of crappy. And let's see, you got hypertension. And if you've already allowed that to go a decade into your older years, you missed the opportunity to correct it. That also gives the doctor a baseline to know what your normal is.
Right.
If you show up at 55 and you haven't had a physical in 10 years and your blood pressure is 112, okay, over 90, just resting, that's still very low. Let's say it's 125, 130. That used to be hypertensive. Some people just have naturally high blood pressure.
Right.
So you show up at the doctor, you're 55 years old. It's the first time they've seen you. They go, ooh, son, we're putting you on blood pressure medication.
I know.
Because they have no history of you.
Yes.
If you would have come in a decade early, like, that's just Dave. Dave's got high blood pressure and it's normal for him.
Right.
If you go in and it's your first physical and you're older and they say, your bad fats are kind of high. So they do the normal HCL, LDL, and looking at like, your numbers are bad, we're putting you on a statin. Well, guess what? Some people naturally have higher cholesterol in their body.
Exactly.
It's natural. It takes an extra test. You've got to ask for it, and the doctor won't run it. But guess what? Now you're on a statin.
Yeah.
And when you start taking medications that alter your chemistry the way it was meant to be, you start getting sick.
Absolutely.
Things don't work right.
Exactly.
So wellness has to happen. So
Yep.
you got to do your regular. So that's another piece of the pie.
Exactly.
Lifestyle phases in because now we're talking about, I can split lifestyle up into two things. But for this one, lifestyle is your meditation. I don't even know if that's part of that.
I would say
'Cause I would put
it's-
meditation, spirituality somewhere in the same vicinity.
Yeah, I would say that it still ties into lifestyle because everybody in the whole world thinks they're the busiest person. Everybody does. They're like, no, you don't understand. I get up at 3 and I work until 8. And that's you. But at the end of the day, we have the same 24 hours. And I think that what we're constantly up against is the fight to get the next thing done and the fight to grow and the fight to make a better life for, you and your family. And if you could just find 10 minutes, I don't think 5's enough, but 10 minutes to just be. So whether it is you're somebody who prays or meditates, or you just kind of sit with, an app on your phone that just has some music that just makes you calm, that just makes you be able to breathe, I think that can change everything. And I think it's also part of the pie.
So lifestyle, it gets hinky because let's call that then work-life balance. So
Yeah.
part of lifestyle is finding balance and harmony in your commitments to the things that you must do and the things that you love. Okay,
Yep.
so you got the things that you must, the things that you love, and then you've got your time,
Yep.
the alone time. Now, when you get into spirituality, whether you are using some of that lifestyle moments to do your meditation, you're connecting with the Creator, you're finding those ways to establish your purpose. And this doesn't get talked about in gyms. People don't go over this kind of stuff.
Right.
Or with fitness professionals or maybe with lifestyle coaches, they
Yep.
get into it.
Life coaches would.
But when you start looking at, when you are so tunnel and narrow visioned in your life, one, it makes it harder to even understand the fitness and nutrition piece because you're so tunnel visioned on your thing. It's this, it's the corruptible part of our spirit that makes us believe I have to work 16 hours a day. I have to make buckets of money. I've got to be successful. I've got to drive. If I'm not killing myself, I'm not doing it right. But we can get so perverted and tunnel visioned in our lifestyle and in our meditation that of course, we're going to ignore the stuff that makes us feel better because I'm so hyper-focused on this one slice of the pie that it's perverted all the rest.
Yep.
I'm not eating right. I'm not training right. I am not putting time into spirituality. I don't know what my purpose is. So when you start establishing the definitions and the boundaries of those pieces, which means you have to pull back in some areas.
Yep.
You have to assess what your priorities are.
Yeah.
It's like decluttering your life.
That's a good way to put it.
So
It is.
instead of being like an emotional and work hoarder,
Yeah.
right? These are those people that don't let go of things. They're too much of a control freak. You're trying to answer problems that you don't have the control to answer.
Yep.
In reality, what do we have control of now? Hello, COVID.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
control.
Anything.
I control whether or not my front door's shut. The end of story. All right, that's the amount of control I have in my life, and when the dogs get walked.
Exactly.
The rest of it, I think it's out of my control.
Absolutely. And I think that when you just take the time to really take a step back and kind of be able to look at your life from a different viewpoint, especially after something like just being still, you can see that we worry and we hustle and bustle about so much that we ignore the part that just needs to be calm. Like every once in a while you need to kind of take a day off from your life and realize the same stresses and everything are still going to be there.
Yeah.
You're not going to destroy something you've been working on if you take 2 hours and read a book.
Well, we always think for some reason we always think like if it doesn't get done today, it's not going to get done at all.
I know.
But the next day, it's just the same crap that gets piled up on top of you. This is something I heard when I was in corporate. It's not going anywhere.
No.
You can stay till 8 o'clock at night and work yourself to the bone. You're going to be there working If it's
still
Monday and
gonna
you're trying
happen.
to work off your Tuesday, you're going to get to Tuesday trying to work off your Wednesday.
Exactly.
It never stops.
No, and I think the thing that we can that we forget sometimes, and this is another piece of Amplify, is it is very important to take the time and spend it with your loved ones. And that time is not guaranteed, but like you having a to-do list for your job or your household, that is guaranteed. There's always a list. But, you know, if your kids are like, there's nothing I would rather do than jump on my bike and go for a ride with you, mom or dad, go.
Those are irreplaceable opportunities.
Absolutely.
The last piece, and again, we're still kind of working through how to divide this up best, would be your relationships. But Amplify, so the Amplify Network, this is our, obviously, it's our podcast version of this. Our online coaching, the physical coaching, they're all part of the Amplify Network. And what we're going to start doing is if you go to amplifymy.life, clever, right? Amplify My Life, amplifymy.life. We are going to have a special offer for you guys just for kind of tuning in. But go over there, put your contact info in, and then we'll send you something just for being a listener. But excited about the direction we're going. I like that we're coming up out of the weeds a little bit, and we're looking to try to address more of a holistic approach to people where fitness and nutrition are a big piece of it. They still have to happen.
Of course.
If they're not on point, you can't expect to control the rest of it, including your emotions and your mind. They all are hinged and critical to, it's the first two layers of that vertical cake is fitness, nutrition, then the rest of it piles up on top of it. All right, well, so we're going to start heading in this direction. This is what you're going to hear more about as far as Amplify. The pieces that go to Amplify, we're talking about the obvious stuff, but then we've also got organization, prioritization in life, people that influence, mentor, and motivate us to do things. So those are who we're aiming for as far as speakers on the show. Not just constant nutrition and exercise. It's too small of a piece to have to have any more of a profound impact on somebody. So that's where this is going, and we're excited to introduce it to you.
To branch out.
That's right. Anything else?
No, I think that is it.
That's enough. And again, holding to our promise to try to keep these as short as the drive home. So we're aiming for 15 to 20 minutes because I wouldn't even want to listen to myself for that long.
But we get to hear ourselves every day.
Right. And much more. So thank you for jumping on, guys. If you please share. If you give us a rating, that's super easy to do. You just go on to the hosting site and just drop us a review. If there's content that really is resonating, we want to hear about it.
Yes.
If there's something you'd like to talk about, we want to hear about that too.
Definitely.
So thank you for the feedback. Keep that coming in. And we appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you all so much.
All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next one.
Alrighty.